Okay, so last night around midnight, I had to take my dog to the emergency room, right? So there's like this pet hospital, just like a real hospital, but for dogs, right? So, mind you, he was having back problems, he was having pain, so I had to get my boy looked at. As I'm in the waiting room, because they have my dog in the back running tests and doing labs to see what the hell's going on with him, I'm sitting in the waiting room. At first, I'm just sitting in the waiting room by myself. There was nobody else in there. Next thing you know, around, I'd say 12:30, 12:45, doorbell rings. Lady buzzes somebody in. It's a lady who comes in with her dog. Her dog is having issues too. I don't know what the hell was going on last night. So they bring her dog to the back. So she's sitting in front signing some paperwork or whatever, but she's on the phone and she's loud, right? And I'm nosy, so I'm listening, right? So anyway, she goes, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm sick. My dog feels my trauma, so now he's sick because you'll never believe what I walked in on. So I can't hear the other person on the other line. I don't know if it's a lady, if it's a guy. I don't know. So I don't know what they're saying, but I'm guessing if I could be them for a second, it's like, girl, what happened? Because that's what I would say, right? And she's like, girl, I walked in on Jeffrey fucking Mike. So next thing you know, I look at her like, first of all, who is Jeffrey? And who is Mike? Now that's, and then so obviously two men, right, two men, and so now it's like, oh, this is juicy. So how can I be nosy without blatantly being nosy, right? So I twisted my seat like this, right? And I don't know why I just did that head movement, but I go like that, like if I was a white girl, I would have pushed the hair behind the ear, like that, and I'm looking over. I went like that, like, hey. And she looked at me like that. So I was like, okay, she's not friendly. But I wouldn't be friendly either if I found out Jeffrey was fucking Mike. Now, I don't know who Jeffrey is, but we gonna find out. So I'm listening harder, and she's trying to whisper because she knows I can hear. She knows, So she's like, yeah, she talking low. She's like, yeah, I'm just tired of this. He has a history of cheating on me. So now we know either Jeffrey or Mike, one of them is her man, right? And she's like, but I never would have thought it'd be with my own brother, bitch. I tried to hurry up and look away because I didn't want her to look up and look at me and see my face and know. But one of them is her brother, bitch. Okay, so I'm like, okay. I'm trying to keep my composure because whoever she's on the phone with, I don't think they're asking the right questions, which means they know each other. This person on the phone on the other end with her already knows who Jeffrey is, already knows who Mike is. You know what I mean? So, but I don't, and I need to figure out. So I'm like, shit, how can I find out? Because she's not going to say, I don't know. I don't know, but obviously the person she's talking to already knows these people and I don't. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, how can I find out this information? And so here we go. So this is the best I could come up with at this point, it's about 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm tired, right? But this is the best I could come up with. I looked over and I was like, are you talking about Michael Young? Right? Mind you, no. Right? But whatever. She gonna look at me, she goes, no. I said, oh, I'm sorry. Because I knew this guy named Michael Young, and he used to talk to somebody named Jeffrey. So she's like, no, that's not my husband's last name. Boom. That's how I found out Michael was her. I got tricks, bitch. I got tricks to finding out some shit. But basically that's how I found out that Michael's her husband and now Jeffrey is her brother. So I'm like, this is some shit. So, but anyway, so now the lady comes out and she's like, can you come to the back with me? We need to talk to you, because they wanted to talk to me about my dog. And I'm like, can you give me a second, please? So I'm acting like I'm tying my shoe. Bitch, I had on flip-flops, okay? But whatever. I'm bending over doing something to the damn flip-flops, fixing my sock, whatever, because I wanted to hear the rest of the conversation before they called me to the back. And so I'm kind of leaned over, and the lady's like, yeah, in a nice way, but kind of like, bitch, hurry up. You know what I mean? So she was like, yeah. And I'm like, shit. So I get up and I go in the back, and mind you, they pull me in this room, and the whole time I'm like this. Like, I'm waiting for them to come in and talk to me about my dog. Like, they placed me in a room by myself, and the whole time I got my ear on the door like this, bitch, because I'm trying to see if I can hear more about this Michael Jeffrey thing going on. So I'm like this, and then the doctor comes in and I go like this, and I hurry up and I sit down, right? And she goes, are you okay? And I said, you know what, girl, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm tired. I got to be up at 6 to go to work tomorrow. Is my dog okay? That's all I need to know. So she's beating around the bush. Well, we're going to have to put the dog on 3 different medications. We really want him to stay the night so we can monitor him, and then you can come pick him up at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. I said, I can't come pick him up at 8 o'clock in the morning. I got to be up to work. I got to get up at 6 to be to work by 7. So I'm like, I can't come here at 8. And she's like, well, we close at 8. So I'm like, okay, well, he can't stay tonight, right? I'm trying to speed up this conversation. I love my dog, but I'm trying to hurry his conversation up so I can get back out there. So I said, okay. So she was like, so we're going to have you fill out this paperwork. We're going to charge your card for X amount of money, which was a lot. And I said, okay. And they were like, and we're going to give your dog a steroid shot in his back. I guess he was having some spine issues. So I said, oh, okay. I said, so do I wait back in the waiting room? I'm trying to get back to the waiting room. And she's like, oh, no, you can sit right here in this room if you want. I said, no, I'd rather wait in the waiting room. There's like a heavy pet dander stench in here and it's making my allergies mess up. Bitch, I ain't got no allergies. Like, at least not dog allergies, right? But whatever. So I get back. She lets me go back out. So I go back out and I sit back down and they're not saying shit. So I'm like, did she hang up? Like, did they hang up? Because it is, at this point, it has to be at least 1:15, 1:20 in the morning. So I'm like, did they hang up? Did I miss this shit? So I said, damn. So I sit down and then she goes, the lady next to me goes, girl, you still there? So I'm like, yes, I didn't miss anything. Or at least I hope I didn't. So she goes, I don't know what I'm going to do. I told Jeffrey he has to leave my house immediately. So Jeffrey's been staying at the house. And obviously one night she walked in on Jeffrey and Michael. Shit. I said shit. Right. And so she said Michael has to go. But come to find out, Michael don't got nowhere to go. I mean, excuse me, not Michael, Jeffrey. Her brother's Jeffrey. Jeffrey has to go, but Jeffrey ain't got nowhere to go. I guess Jeffrey's homeless, right? Which is why he's been living with them. So her friend on the other line, like I said, I can't hear what the friend is saying, but the friend probably said, what you gonna do? Are you gonna leave? And because I heard her say, I'm not going anywhere. That's my house. If anything, they need to leave. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, will they get a place together? Will they be lovers? Or is it like one of those movies where they're going to take her out because now she knows their secret and they don't want them. So I told Shorty, I didn't tell her, but I'm looking like, Shorty, you better be safe. You better be careful because there's a good possible chance they could pew pew you to keep that secret from the rest of the family. And then on top of that, I have a whole bunch of questions because like, what do they look like? Because for these men to just be pooming on each other, and that's gotta hurt. Because I ain't gonna lie, I went number 2 earlier, and it felt like I had spikes coming out my ass. That shit hurt. So I can only imagine. I know TMI, but I can only imagine to just back and forth. I know poop just falls out their ass. They don't even have to push. But anyway, moving on. So that's all I heard. And I wish that there was a part 2 to this story, but that's all I got. So, but if I could put my own conclusion together in my weird ass delusional mind, I think Michael and Jeffrey are going to run away together and just be themselves. And the simple fact that the dog internalized it and now he's in the hospital sick the same time as my dog is in the hospital sick. It just means that I was meant to tell y'all this story, because who would have thought that we would both be in the hospital with our messed up dogs at like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday night / Friday morning, bitch. So I don't know what's going to happen with Michael and Jeffrey, but they did get caught hunching, which means it ain't the first time, bitch. It's just the first time you've caught them, So drop a comment and let me know what her advice, what advice you have for her, I don't know her and I'm probably never going to see her again. But if you have any advice for her, or any other woman in that situation, drop a comment, let me know what you would tell her to do. I would say get tested, first of all. Just once you drop the dog back off at home, you go immediately to a human hospital and do all of that shit. Because, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's not the first boy he done fucked. And then second of all, how old was Jeffrey? Like, how old was your brother? Like, was your husband, like, messing around with Jeffrey and Jeffrey was like 14, 15, 16? Because then the plot thickens, bitch. Or was Jeffrey grown man, like what's the age? Like that, I have so many questions, and I'm so disappointed in the person that was on the other line, on the phone with her, because it's like she didn't ask he or she didn't ask no good questions. Couldn't be me, bitch. I got a list already. What shoe size they wear? How close is Jeffrey's room to y'all in proximity? Walking distance? Do you have to walk to the other side of the house to get to Jeffrey's room? Because that means intentionally they plan that. Like, they plan that because if he got to walk to the other side of the house or the other side of the apartment like a buddy style system, you got to plan that execution. But drop a comment because that's some shit. Happy Friday, though.